Okay, so now we were
Welcome.
discussing the issue of time effect. Karim, can you calculate for us now if we have a discount rate of 5%, what will be the NPV at year 4? So now if we increase the discount rate, okay, we can see how this will
Yes,
affect
يلا.
the net present value. And what do we mean by the internal rate of return? The internal rate of return is the value of I for which you will have a net present value at year 5 equal to 0. Okay? And you can be sure now that the internal rate of return is larger than 2%. Because when you use 2%, you obtained a positive NPV at year 4. Okay? So, of course, your internal rate is larger than 2. And you can keep trying to know what is the internal rate of return. You say, let me calculate NPV at year 5 for different discount rates. And whenever I get a discount rate for which NPV is just, you will not get 0 exactly. Okay. And for example, you can say, if I is 5%, let me calculate NPV at year 5. If you still get a positive result, you say the internal rate of return will be larger. So I should increase the value of I to reduce the NPV. So I keep increasing. I can try, for example, 10% at 5 years. Okay, if I get at 10% a negative result, I can be sure that the internal rate of return is between 5 and 10. So I keep, if you want, reducing my interval until reaching an index. For example, we can do it here as an example. So let's say we try, for example, 9%. If for 9% its NPV is positive and for 10% it's negative, this means that the internal rate of return is between these two. And we can say then that for any discount rate below 10%, then I am on the safe side. I will not lose. But it's not enough just to not lose, as we'll see after. We should at least gain a certain percentage of our investment in order to decide.
Yes,
Yes, Karim, tell us.
yes لأنه بيكون في الانفليشن فإنه بدنا
اوكي
نعوض أكتر من الانفليشن.
اوكي بس عملت لنا كالكوليشن شيء.
يس هلا
اوكي
عم
يلا،
رح
شو طلع
تخلص.
معك كريم at year 5 ال NPV now. اوكي يعني you should add
يس
until
هلا
the 5th year. مين كان سألنا؟ هيلدا شيء؟ Yes. It
تطلع
is it is clear.
3161.
3000 على 5%.
يس
اوكي at the end of lifetime تطلع 3000.
161.
اوكي 161.
61.
طب فينا نعذبك كريم تجيب لنا اياها على ال 10%؟
أكيد ولو ما في عزيز.
اوكي يلا. So 61. بينما هيدا إذا 5%. إذا 0% all we have to do إنه نجمع ال benefits. اوكي النت revenues ونقص منهم 10,000. So عنا هون قلنا 9 لحديت هون 12,700 وهون 15,000. So we do 15,700 minus 10,000. So if we don't take time into account, the net present value at the end of lifetime is $5,700. Okay.
Yes
While if we take a
10%.
discount, no.
sorry ال 10% تطلع
Okay.
$1,660.
Okay. $1,660. So this project is if you want to comment, it seems that this project is good. لأنه even with 10% we are still getting. هلا ليك بدنا ننتبه على شغله. It's not enough to just gain money. We should gain an acceptable percentage. اتفقنا؟ if we consider, for example, for a discount rate of 10%, what is the amount of percentage of gain؟ يعني في شيء اسمه CER, Capital Enrichment Rate. The capital enrichment rate is equal to the ratio of what we gain over the investment. يعني for 10% I gain $1,660 for an investment of $10,000, which is around if you want 16% of my investment, which is not very good. If I just gain 16% of my investment after this long after 5 years, it might be acceptable, okay? But larger the period of your project, you will expect to gain more, okay? So here you can say I will put for me a certain target. I want to let's say gain 30% of my investment. If I want to gain more than 30% of my investment, I should have a discount rate of nearly 5%. If I can allow for 10% of gain, okay, I can go up to 10% for my discount rate. Now, if I want to find the IRR, the internal rate of return, in order to calculate the internal rate of return, I should continue with my calculation. I cannot stop here لأنه حتى for 10% I got a positive value. So I might try 15%, okay? If it's negative, then I can say my internal rate of return is between 10 and 15. And I keep reducing the interval until getting, حتى you can solve it on the calculator. No need to do the iterative procedure. You can put an equation on the calculator and set it equal to 0. You can solve for I. Okay? Any question on this?
I have a question about
Yes.
the CER.
Yes.
So is there any typical value for this?
Yes. In general, we say 30%, but look, it depends a lot on the period of your project. So for renewable energy projects, because you have a long period, minimum 30%. But if you take this example of 5 years, you can allow for 5 years. It's reasonable if you gain, let's say, 20% or 10% of your investment. Okay, but whenever you have, we can say that the CER should be associated with the lifetime of your project. A larger lifetime will impose a larger CER. Okay.
Yes.
Normally for energy projects, we say a good value is around 30%. To say that it's acceptable, but of course, higher is the CER, the better it is.
كمان كان في minimum attractive rate of return. هيدا كمان
Yes, exactly. The minimum attractive rate of return is the rate of return which will give you the desired CER. Okay?
Yes.
And if you say I can accept